Most developers use Claude Code wrong. 7 primitives turn it into a team. Now, on to the AI learning.
Welcome to Claude Code, Foundation and Mastery. In this program, we focus on shell-based usage and configuration, delivered through DDS Vibe Academy. The entire curriculum is free and is designed to move you from first principles to confident production-grade workflows. Claude Code is an autonomous engineering agent exposed as a command line interface. It edits real files and executes commands across terminal, IDE, desktop, browser, mobile, and Slack. It can read entire codebases, change multi-file architectures, run tests, monitor pipelines, and manage Git workflows end-to-end. Between 2024 and 2026, agent terminology exploded. Skills, plugins, MCP, subagents, hooks, and more. Without structure, systems became bloated and unstable. We address this by organizing everything into 3 layers: a knowledge layer, a worker layer, and an infrastructure layer that anchors the stack. This table summarizes the stack. CLAUDE.md and skills live in the knowledge layer, encoding rules and expertise. Subagents and agent teams are workers, handling research and coordinated feature work. Hooks, MCP servers, and plugins form the infrastructure, adding safety rails, external tools, and packaging for teams. System design follows a 3-step rule. First, put knowledge in always-on CLAUDE.md and on-demand skills. Second, isolate heavy research into subagents and parallelize complex tasks with teams. Third, automate and package using hooks for safety, MCP for external reach, and plugins for sharing configurations. Installation in 2026 has modernized. NPM installs are fully deprecated. On macOS and Linux, use Homebrew with the Claude Code cask. On native Windows, install via WinGet with Git for Windows required. Under Windows WSL, treat the environment like Linux, with no additional Git dependency. Model choice should be deliberate. Opus 4.6 offers the deepest reasoning for architecture, major refactors, and hard debugging. Sonnet 4.6 is the cost-efficient daily driver for multi-file edits and bug fixes. Haiku 4.5 emphasizes speed and is ideal for subagents, quick analysis, and lightweight status checks. Claude Code supports 4 permission modes. Default asks before every write or command, maximizing safety. Plan mode performs a dry run and lets you approve the full strategy. Auto-accept edits files silently, but still confirms shell commands. Full auto removes prompting, and therefore demands strict safety prerequisites. For local execution via Ollama, hardware matters. With 12 GB of VRAM, we recommend QUN 2.5 Coder 14B, giving an 8 to 16K baseline context. Below that, you can fall back to Ollama Cloud. Larger GPUs, up to 24 GB, unlock bigger models and windows, but the baseline is designed for mid-range developer machines. Claude.md is your always-on knowledge file and comes in 3 scopes: managed organization policy, project-level rules at the repo root, and user-level preferences in your home directory. Keep each under 200 lines to avoid context starvation, and use path matchers to target rules to specific folders where needed. Long sessions tend to accumulate irrelevant files, leading to context pollution. To maintain hygiene, keep Claude.md compact. Offload deep research into isolated subagents, and use the compact command at task boundaries. Monitor context usage with context and restart sessions when consumption exceeds roughly 75%. Skills use progressive disclosure. Only about 100 tokens of description are scanned until the model detects an intent match. Then up to 5,000 tokens may load. Effective patterns include router skills for style, reference skills for APIs, calibrators with examples, tool use validators, and full domain configurations. Custom/commands are orchestrated through markdown files in .claude commands. The file name becomes the command. YAML front matter controls allowed tools and models, and arguments capture user input. Teams can maintain shared command sets, while personal commands live under the user's home configuration. Subagents are context-isolated workers. Instead of polluting the main session with research, they operate in separate windows and return concise summaries. Typical archetypes include an explorer using Haiku for read-only analysis, a reviewer on Opus with project memory, and an implementer on Sonnet with full tools. Agent teams introduce parallel squads. Multiple sessions collaborate via peer-to-peer messaging on a shared task list. A lead agent coordinates while teammates execute in parallel. This pattern suits feature sets built in parallel work trees, dual research and implementation tracks, and complex cross-stack refactors. Choosing between subagents and teams depends on routing needs. Subagents follow a boss worker model via YAML config and are cost-efficient because context is isolated then discarded. Agent teams are prompt-orchestrated peer squads, giving each member full context, which is ideal for tightly coordinated development. Hooks are deterministic safety rails implemented as shell scripts the model cannot bypass. Pre-tool use gates can block dangerous commands before execution, while post-tool use gates auto-lint files after writes. Session end hooks commit changes and send summaries, forming the mandatory layer for unattended full auto runs. MCP servers extend Claude Code into external systems, but each one expands your attack surface. Start with safe servers like file system and Git. Before enabling others, audit them. Verify the publisher. Review exposed tools. Minimize credentials. Check hosting and telemetry. And restrict scope via MCP config JSON. The sovereign routings pattern assigns tasks to the right execution venue. Frontier architecture and debugging routes to Anthropic's Opus or Sonnet. Routine work goes to free Ollama Cloud. Sensitive private code runs on sovereign local models, while high-volume batch jobs leverage local execution for zero marginal cost. Finally, we compose a sovereign system, CLAUDE.md, and skills guide behavior. Commands, subagents, teams, MCP, and hooks interlock around the Claude Code engine. Success comes from composing these primitives, not using them in isolation. From here, we advance to production playbooks and disciplined coding practices.